Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is only 665, and I'm coming at you from both the Thunderdome Network and my own channel. And I'm here today to discuss a topic that's been a little bit touchy in the Nerf community over the last year or so. And that's going to be the topic of blaster versus gun. First, I would like to give a little bit of a history, sort of things. I know when I was younger, we called them Nerf guns. We had suction dart guns and stuff like that. It was all toy guns. That was the term that I was most familiar with. That was the term that I'd heard quite a bit. However, nowadays with Hasbro, they try to use the term blaster a little bit more. That's sort of what they encourage people to use. And to kind of go back and look a little bit as to maybe why that is, here in the United States, the past several years, we've had several issues with gun violence. Some of it school related. A lot of things have been in public places. I can remember when I was in high school, the incident at Columbine in Colorado happened. And I can remember, theater shootings and different things. And here in my home state of Tennessee, we've even had some experience with some people bringing guns to school and committing acts of violence. So, that's something not anyone is really immune to anymore. But this is a Nerf blaster. And I say blaster because that's the appropriate term from the community at this point. Most people, if you go and you pick one of these up at your local Walmart or somewhere like that, you'll get a comment. I know I get tons of comments, especially somebody my age. They think I'm buying it for birthday presents and such as that, but get a lot of comments about, oh, you're buying a Nerf gun. Who's the Nerf gun for? Why are you getting the Nerf gun? You're buying them for kids and whatnot, but Nerf blaster is the term that we're using right now, and I know there's been some discussion. Rob from Thunderdome, he still calls them Nerf guns, and he has worked to kind of perpetuate that term a little bit himself because, again, that's the term a lot of people are familiar with outside of our hobby, outside of the Nerf community. But in this day and age, I don't really know that that's a winning battle. Because of some recent issues that have arisen, I do think that more people in the hobby are going to need to transition to being more comfortable using the term blaster. Because within the last year, we had an Australian buy-sell trade group that, because the word gun was used pretty regularly in posts and comments and things like that, Facebook was pretty well continually shutting them down. So they pretty well had to close up shop and shift over to other things. Different social media sites and apps and things have began using different rules and different standards on things, and they look for people using the word gun as sort of a catch word, and they have closed groups, they've done different things. So I think that we as a hobby, in order for us to keep communicating through websites like Facebook, to keep using programs like Discord, which I've not heard of any exact issues with Discord just yet, but I expect this video to even get a flag on YouTube because I'm using the word gun, and I'm saying the word gun multiple times. I don't know if I'll put that word exactly in the title. I'm going to have to kind of look at my options, but blaster versus gun is a debate that's sort of hot in the community right now, and it's nonsense that we have to train ourselves to use different terminology. But in order for us to keep using these awesome ways of communicating with each other, whether it's YouTube, Discord, Facebook, what have you, we're going to have to modify what we're doing just like we modify our blasters. In order to keep growing the community and to keep making the community better, we're going to have to change the way that we've done things somewhat. So, and even the terms that we use to describe some of our game styles. I know there are some popular videos on YouTube. One popular content creator has a Nerf gun game that he does videos of. That's something that we as a community probably are going to have to look at and maybe change some of our terminology for. There was a recent college group that was playing a game type that was similar to what most of us refer to as VIP, but they decided to call it President instead. And a local news outlet decided that since those students were trying to get the person that was the VIP, that meant those kids were trying to kill what they said the name of the VIP was. So that's not necessarily the best thing for us. That's negative press, and it's just because instead of saying VIP, they called it President. So we're going to have to look at those things that we're doing and think about those words that we have and make sure that they can't be twisted and used against us. The Nerf community, and I know there's arguments from time to time, and there's talk of different things, and there's arguments and there's discussions, and not everybody gets along, but the Nerf community as a whole is a pretty easy group to get along with for the most part. Most people like each other. Most people like to get along with each other. We like to have fun. We love playing with kids' toys and doing some ridiculous things with them. But, we're going to have to start thinking about these terms and these words and make sure that they can't be used against us, that they can't be turned against us to make us look bad. The terminology has been there for a long time, but we're going to have to think more closely about it as we go forward, because a little bit of bad press can stop our community dead in its tracks. I love this community. I want to see it grow. I want to see people having fun and enjoying themselves. And, if that means that we're going to have to change a few words, if we're going to have to be a little more cautious about what we say and what we do, then so be it. But I think this community can do great things for people. This is a really fun community to be a part of. But we have to watch what we say. So, looking at why is it important for the hobby to distinguish this stuff, it's so that we can keep doing what we've been doing and keep having fun and keep using public places. People like to use the argument that airsoft and paintball, still call it an airsoft gun or a paintball gun. Why can't we say Nerf gun or foam gun or whatever? And, the thing is, those places, typically, you're not allowed to play airsoft or paintball in a public park. In a lot of places, you can play Nerf in a public park. You can get your Nerf blasters and you go out with your buddies and you can shoot each other in a public park with Nerf. As long as you're picking up after yourself, it's not a big issue. But airsoft and paintball, they can't. A lot of those have to have private fields. So, it's just like us, being more aware of painting our blasters in bright colors and, being safe that way. Because if you've got people running around in a public park and they're using the word gun, and instead of saying darts, they're saying bullets, that throws up red flags with people in the public. And so we need to be a little more cautious about those things. You look at this, you can tell it's a toy. A lot of orange, a lot of bright colors. But there are kits out there, and one reason I chose the Strife is it's a very popular platform. There's a lot of kits out there that can make this look very similar to a real steel firearm. And, even if we keep it painted brightly, just the shape of it can throw people off. And there's brightly painted firearms. I saw a picture on Facebook myself the other day of a brightly painted semi-automatic rifle. It was blue, light blue, pink, white, things like that, and was made to look like a unicorn. It would have been an awesome blaster kit of some type, but it was real steel. So we've got to be aware of these things, guys, and we've got to make ourselves, make our hobby safer. We've got to do it to future-proof what we're doing. If we enjoy what we're doing, then we need to try to take those steps to keep it where we can still participate in it in the future. So, I hope that y'all have gotten something out of this discussion. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down below. I'll be watching those comments, and I'd be happy to communicate with you on those. Because, this is an open discussion. This is something that we need to talk about. And I hope it's something that we as a group in the NIC can take a step towards that shift, because if we have a pretty solid group that's still going to keep calling them Nerf guns, and we've got a pretty solid group that's wanting to call them blasters, that's going to cause a divide in our community that we don't really need at this point. Our hobby is at a point of jumping off and growing into something big. We've got the third End War coming up this summer, and that grew from NVZ before that. So, it's almost like it's been around 4 years. But it's a huge international event. There were people there from, Australia and England and Germany and a bunch of different places last year, and from all over the United States. It was a huge event. You've got Foam Fest that's coming up pretty soon over in England. I think is it Wigan? It might be. I hope those guys have a huge event over there. Wish them the best with that. Kind of wish it was a closer drive for me. But you've got Foam Fest going on in England. We've got the Blaster Tag Association that is trying to give us a nationally recognized format that we can compare our games on a nationwide scale and kind of compete against each other at distance. The Atomic Dart League in Atlanta is part of that. And they've got chapters or places growing all over that are connected to that. You've got the Blaster League, National Blaster League, that essentially it started as to me it looked like pro wrestling for the foam flinging business, but it's getting us attention. I don't know that we'll ever get back to a point of like with the dart tag contests that Hasbro sponsored and had a national finals for and all of those things, but that's a direction that we're heading towards. I mean, the Blaster League, National Blaster League, has some corporate sponsorship going on. I don't know that there'll be televised events. I don't know if it'll show up on ESPN like the dart tag stuff did, but it's a step in the right direction. It's a step towards growing this hobby and getting some recognition for what it is that we do. And I think we're seeing some great growth right now, and it could be huge. And we need to figure out a way to keep that growth going and to keep it positive. So the best way we can do that is to communicate with each other and to use words that are more friendly for the public. So that's my thoughts on things. I'd like to know yours. Drop them in the comments below. Message me, whatever. And I think this is an open discourse. And to those other creators that are a part of the Thunderdome Network, I challenge you to make a video on this topic and let me know your thoughts. The more discussion that we get about this and the more open that we are, the better off that our community and our hobby is going to be. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've got a little something out of it, maybe give you something to think about. This has been Home Lee, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, to keep flinging that foam. Have a good evening.